This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
The numbers told the story, they always do.
It's one of those idiots who believe in analytics.
This is a numbers game with Gil Alexander on VSiN.
Good Monday morning to you. It is a numbers game at VSiN, the sports betting network, VSiN.com, Game Plus, iHeartRadio, YouTube TV, and of course, Sirius XM channel 158. It's Gil Alexander. That right there is my little buddy Kelly Billin, everybody.
Hey, how we doing?
Doing very well. What a weekend. What an extended weekend. Hope you had a safe and healthy and very stomach-filling Thanksgiving. I think that's what you say after Thanksgiving.
Yes.
And now we transition into the Merry Christmas mode, the Happy Holidays mode of things. Beyond that. But there is so much to discuss on this show. Week 14 guessing lines about to happen. Week 14, Kelly, it's December.
How did it happen already?
How's
it December already?
How did it happen? I can't believe it's week 14. That's what Will says, like every couple of weeks.
I say it every month.
Can't believe it's week 6.
Every month in the fall. I'm like, how's it October already? How's it November?
Week 14, guessing lines coming up, looking to extract value. We went pretty well on that last week in terms of our results and initial reactions. The one that didn't get home for me was Detroit, but Cincinnati did, Seattle did. So we'll go through that exercise. I haven't seen the lines. Kelly will tell me what they are within that exercise. We recap. We look at things. Also got to talk about college football, the disaster scenario of college football. Lane Kiffin we got to talk about. 2-point conversions we got to talk about. A whole bunch of things. But we start, as we always do, Kelly, with a little Survivor update, Circus Survivor update, the greatest contest there ever was. And by the way, shout out to Derek Stevens and the Circa family. They have started in Missouri as of today.
That's right. Yeah, beautiful live shot of Derek this morning on By the Books from Missouri.
There you go. Shout out to those guys. Circa Survivor. First of all, let's talk about Grandissimo. Grandissimo, which we haven't talked about nearly as much. But, for those who are aware, $100,000 entry. There were 69 entries in the end this year. I had set the over-under at 30.5, I think, before the season started.
Pretty sure I took the under.
Yeah, got to 69, so it's, a $6.9 million pool. And in the end, 6 entries split. After 3 were on the Ravens, 3 were on the Eagles in their Thanksgiving quirk in that contest as well. Obviously, both Ravens and Eagles lose. So those 6 entries split the $6.9 million. That's $1.15 million per entry. Per each of those 6. Congratulations to our buddy Michael Craig.
Yes.
Who?
He was one of them. That's right.
He was part of one of the guys that got it to the end here, the end in quotes of that contest. Zach White, little Zach, had himself an entry too. So it does show you that in Survivor, while, as we'll get into momentarily, so much of this is just the universe casting, light on you, and you're just being in good fortune, and maybe some good bettors know a little something too. And so they get to the end on that. Congratulations to them. As far as Circa Survivor Classic, oh man, we are down to 45 headed into tonight. We are down to 45. Remember, there's a Thanksgiving week, right? Thursday and Friday act as its own week, and then Sunday, Monday act as its own week. Only 4 entries lost. Yesterday, those were all on the Rams losing to the Seahawks. But in case you missed it, right, the Ravens and Eagles losses and the Chiefs losses on Thanksgiving Day and then Friday right afterward, Black Friday. I think there was also a few losses there on the Lions too, but that was obviously negligible. But 489 of the remaining 898, remember 2 didn't submit, so it was 489 over 54. It was 54.3% of the remaining entries were on the Eagles, 29.9% of them were on the Ravens, 8.7% on the Chiefs, all gone. There's the 1.4% on the Lions. That those 4 games alone, Kelly, 94.56% of the remaining entries got bounced.
See ya.
Not only is it the most carnage ever on a Thanksgiving week, it is the most carnage on any week in the history of Circa Survivor ever. 94.56%. And it was just in the 4 games. I guess the percentage would rise with fewer games if those weren't to go the way of the contestants. And, of course, with 4 upsets happening, there you go. So it went from 900 after the 2 non-submissions to 898, and then all the way down to 49, and now 45. And so if you look at the history of Circa Survivor in terms of where we are year to year, now this year's is actually by a tick the most gone percentage-wise in the history of Circa Survivor to this point. We just eclipsed last year. Amazing. 99.76% gone from this year in Circa Survivor. So the actual intrinsic value of each now, the remaining 45, there is one on the Patriots tonight, so that's pending. But right now, as of this moment, $415,955.56.
This is such a great, you've been doing a great job of tracking all these all year long. But you get to this point, and this is why we make such a big deal before the season, early season, right? What you got to do leading up to Thanksgiving and then planning for Thanksgiving. Because if you're just watching that at home, see it on graphic. I mean, it's over 99% the past 3 years.
Yeah.
And you're talking around that level for the past 5 years.
And I just want to say this. So repeatedly last week, I think I probably said it 4 times, right, over the course of the week. I said to folks, and I hearkened it back to 2021, when the Cowboys were huge favorites over the Raiders, and Jeff Parlay, the Grover Cleveland Producers, was my producer at the time. And I did the thought exercise with him. I said, Jeff, if you knew that 99 of our remaining 100 were going to be on the Cowboys, would you, as the 100th, if you knew that information, would you take the Raiders? He goes, I don't know. And I said, Jeff, you have to take the Raiders. It'd be your obligation because, of course, how many times in life do you get a chance to win $6 million, whatever it was at that time? And so I related it to the Eagles going into this Thanksgiving that, no, you don't know exactly the percentage that's going to be on that team. But if you can guess it, I guessed at 67%, it ended up being 54%. Mm-hmm. What's your threshold for when it is your obligation to play the other side? In this case, the Chicago Bears. And I hope that some people listen to it. And I know, based on Twitter, that some did. And some listened to it, and they have catapulted into the final 45 in Circa, in the final group in DraftKings. And so I'm pumped that some people followed that advice. Because that's what makes this contest so amazing, is that on the one hand, there is so much luck involved, so much of it. And I hope, by the way, on a side note on that, I hope people realize now, and now that we're all sort of out of it except for those 45, and congratulations to those 45 entries, those who control those 45 entries. But I hope now that the people who got knocked out this weekend versus those of us who got knocked out on that Cardinals loss, with Demarcado throwing it up before he crossed the goal line. Same game. They picked the ball, then they fumbled, and Tennessee ran it back for a touchdown. I couldn't help but notice that those who get past that somehow think they're better at the game than you are. You're not, right? You're just not. It's just that the universe frowned on you just a little later. And there was nothing bad beatish about either the Eagles or the Ravens. They're just bad picks in the end, right? Everybody saved their picks for just bad picks. That's just how it is. Those are the vagaries of the game. But then you do have to apply selectively the skill of having the onions to go in when you can. When there's a game, when there's a plus EV moment in the game to catapult forward, you have to be willing to fall on your sword. And I hope some did listen and go with the Chicago Bears, and they are the better for it. And that's the thing. By the way, the other way to look at that, Kelly, is let's go look at it another way. If you picked Philly, right, and then you watched the Bengals beat the Ravens on Thursday, overnight Thursday to Friday, you were already locked into your Philly pick. At that point, after the Bengals beat the Ravens, your pick on Philly became a massively minus EV bet, minus EV pick. Now, we'll say this also just from the preseason standpoint. By the way, this is what makes this game so incredible. We will get to guessing lines. But, you know, I'm sort of famous for saying, and I probably have to rethink my position on this a little bit. I've said before every year, I think those that max out entries, I think there's a point of redundancy, I've said. That's the phrase, right? Where I said, I only get 6 because I think my behavior just becomes proportional at that point. Right? So if I'm going to distribute them 2-2-2, I would distribute those 3-3-4 or something like that, right? So in the end, I'm only playing one optimally. But I think what I have to rethink is, while I'm correct about that behavior, what I need to sort of acknowledge is that the NFL, the plinko nature of the NFL, the vagaries of the NFL itself, the fact that anybody truly, no matter the underdog. Right, again, I lost on a 17-point favorite in 2020, a home favorite. That the NFL has become so unbelievably ridiculous that maxing almost trumps the point of redundancy argument. Because in the end, remember when our buddy Tony Farmer, who does such a great job with Last Men podcast, and Tony's Market Tips on Twitter, he was power ranking the remaining entries the other day, and I said to him, I go, because the number 1 and 2 that he had, I go, let me ask, is there a number attached to those entry names? He goes, oh yeah, one of them's this 8 or this 3 or whatever. And I go, that tells me, right, that those are just the random result of whatever thinking and machinations that person did with all of their 10 entries or 8 entries or whatever it was, that those just happen to be the entries that got through based on sheer infinite amounts of paths that could have happened in the league week by week by week. I see it with my own entries, right? I see that oftentimes when I have 6 or 7, I will think through, and the one that's last standing didn't happen this year because they all got knocked out the same way. But that the last one standing just happens by sheer circumstance to be the one that ended up with the best path. And so maybe I need to rethink that while I'm right about a point of redundancy, the sheer randomness of the sport itself and the game itself means that maxing trumps that.
I guess that's what I was going to say. Is it means you need to, like, I think your breakdown of yourself is correct, right? Because I'm pretty similar with it. If you're going to be that redundant on picks, then yeah, maybe you don't need to be playing that much. But it means you're going to be more open to spreading things out if you're going to fire on more entries.
I know folks who wanted to go opposite sides on Christmas. And they figured they could get through Thanksgiving, but it wouldn't allow them to get that far, right? Because that's the ultimate, to be able to sacrifice during these Thanksgiving and Christmas squirks. Coming back.
If you're serious about football betting, VSiN's got your weekend game plan. Fridays at 7 p.m., it's the Circa Friday Football Invitational. Saturday morning, VSiN's college football tailgate show at 9 a.m., breaking down matchups, props, and big-time bets. Later that night, join the football contest show as the sharpest betting minds give you their picks for Sunday's game. And Sunday at 9 a.m., lock in with Mitch and Foley on VSiN's Pro Football Tailgate Show. Your final stop before kickoff. Check out the full lineup at VSiN.com and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
This is VSiN, a network of sports betting analysts, writers, hosts, and handicappers, all here to help you become a more confident bettor. We broadcast live every day from Las Vegas, the sports betting capital of the world, and from studios across the country, giving you insight from every angle of the action. Take VSiN with you wherever you go with the VSiN Watch app, or catch us on streaming platforms and regional sports networks. You can also listen live on SiriusXM Channel 158 and on radio stations nationwide. Check out VSiN.com as well for betting tools, exclusive betting splits, AI-powered player prop projections from Opta, pro picks for every game, plus in-depth betting guides and articles built to give you an edge. From sharp betting analysis and daily best bets to insider interviews and expert breakdowns, VSiN is your trusted source for everything happening in the world of sports betting. See everything we have to offer at VSiN.com and become part of the Sports Betting Network.
On the next edition of Prop Points, all the action for Week 13, and we'll see how many of our favorite player props cashed out. Our Monday Night Football matchup will be between the New England Patriots and the New York Giants. The grinder, Tom Brawley from FantasyPoints.com, will join the program to give out his favorite props for Monday night, and I'll also pop out my favorite props. And of course, I'll have a Monday night special as well. I'm John Hansen. Tune into Monday's edition of Prop Points at 1 p.m. Eastern, only on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Not a VSiN Pro subscriber yet? This is your best chance. Our Black Friday special is still live. And for just $60, you get full VSiN Pro access to everything we offer all the way through May 1st. That includes daily best bets from VSiN hosted guests, real-time betting splits from DraftKings, Circa, and Bracco, AI-powered prop tools, and weekly wide receiver cornerback matchup edges, 24/7 video and replays on the VSiN Watch app, coverage of every major sport through the spring, from football and hoops to March Madness, the NFL Draft, and the Masters. Our biggest new subscriber offer of the year is here. Don't wait. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe now. That's VSIN.com/subscribe. We get tweets at Beating the Book. You okay, Kelly? You having a good morning? You're right? Good weekend for you?
I'm going to call it a Cyber Monday special.
As opposed to Black Friday?
Yeah.
I was going to say, we should probably update that.
I feel like that works a little better. Yeah.
This is from Jared Still, Jared Still 2. The man himself, Gill, insinuated all week that Survivor players might be wise to ride with the Bears. This is why. And he's partly clairvoyant. I don't know about that. But it was the plus EV play. Good. I'm glad you did, Jared. Good on you for getting through. This is from, let's see, let me intersperse some here as well. This is from a disc golfer. Best BOL let you talk about bet online. Wager on the internet. Mm-hmm. Let you change picks up until kickoff. Gil helped convince me, as well as friends who did the math, to switch to the Bears since 55% were on the Eagles. Lifesavers. Man, I'm glad to hear that. So I guess he was on a bet online contest. RB Treff at Bob C-137. Does BetOnline have the Thanksgiving Christmas quirk? I'm on Splash, and they don't, but next year I'd like to be in a contest that mimics Circa with few entries. Got myself through with the Bengals and a couple, also using analysis from Gil on a numbers game. Glad to hear that as well. And then I think there's, let's see here, there's one more. Oh, this one says the same thing. That he says, if only they listened to your show. Luke, walk it out. I hope they did on that anyway. And then the Megapod. I don't know if you know this, Kelly, but a little someone I like to call Brent Musburger was on the Megapod this past week.
Always so good.
Dan Groeschel. This week's Megapod was perfect. It felt like a family holiday get-together where all the kids gathered around Uncle Brent to hear all the good stories from way back when. When Brent Musburger talks, it's always worth a listen or three. It was awesome. We went back into his play-by-play history, some of his greatest moments, Suns Celtics, 1976, the Boston College Flutie pass. He talked about all that. From Nate Green, got around to listening to the pod traveling this weekend. I contend that the 10 to 15 minutes of Uncle Brent telling stories about games he called were the greatest 10 to 15 minutes in podcasting history. Well done, lads. It's very nice of you to say. Again, just an honor to have Brent on. And even the three of us, Todd, Will, and I, afterwards, without even Brent around, we just sort of look at each other like, tell me how cool that is.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
And my 8-year-old self, my head would have exploded off my body.
Yeah, and you and I are lucky to have been a part of it for years now, but it's also another one of those. Look, Brent Musburger is such a big reason of why I met VSiN, having met him in person in South Florida. And Brent Musburger is the same. I think if you could say this about anybody in our business, it's one of the highest compliments. He is the same guy off air, on air, on a podcast, on your show. He's going to tell you the same types of stories, the same types of way, and he makes you feel very special for being there listening to it.
Bob C-137 adds, Commandos almost defeat Broncos and the officials. It's not one of them, but that crew really gave the conspiracy theorist a lot to talk about. NFL give all officials a $10,000 annual raise, and they do press conferences after games. Compensated accountability. This is from Enright, Stephen Enright. As an Ole Miss alumni, I forgot that Lane was just a friend with benefits. Never the marrying type, LOL. We forgot. 6 years is a long time. Andy V. Oh, we'll get to Lane. Andy V. Can any of you explain to me Christian McCaffrey, Offensive Player of the Year number right now? He leads the NFL in yards from scrimmage. He should easily get to 2,000. He has 0 weather games ahead of him. His team should easily get to 11 wins. Titans next. 25-1 seems ludicrous. I agree, Andy V. It really does. Shall we do it?
They're saying Jonathan Taylor, JSN, it's down between the two of them. Minus 125 on Jonathan Taylor. DraftKings, even money on JSN, 14-1 on Christian McCaffrey.
All right,
He's not out of it, though.
Let's get into it. Guessing lines, Week 14 in the National Football League. Oh, yeah.
A big one, Gil.
Yes.
Cowboys at the Lions. The unstoppable Dallas Cowboys.
Thursday night football. The 6-5-1 Cowboys coming off that win over the Chiefs on Thanksgiving. At the Lions coming off that loss to the Packers on Thanksgiving. 7-5 are the Lions. So it's not an elimination game by law, right? Not a true mathematical elimination game. but it sure kind of feels elimination-ish. At least if the Cowboys lose, it does to a degree, right? A little bit of that, though not really. Again, because the Eagles are stumbling in that division. By the way, Kelly, you put this up on the website. While the Eagles were playing the Bears on Friday, I bet the Cowboys 10-1 to win the NFC East. You did as well?
Yeah,
in the
I
moment?
got in at 9. It's 7-1.
Yeah.
That was funny when you texted that because I was sitting there that whole first half. I'm like, this team's falling apart. They're falling apart.
Yeah.
Is there a way we could bet against them? Other than, you text. Whenever you texted, I was like, yep, I think I'm joining you on that.
Dak, 27 of 39 for 320 in that win over the Chiefs. CeeDee Lamb, 7 catches for 112 and a touchdown. 457 total yards for the Cowboys. Detroit Goff, 20 of 26 for 256 in defeat. Jamison Williams was awesome, 7 for 144 and a touchdown. I will say Detroit -3 on Thursday Night Football.
Yep, this is pretty much 3 everywhere. We did have some 3.5s when this first opened up, but we are 3 across the board right now.
All right, let's go to Sunday.
All right, Sunday, morning early window, Seahawks at Falcons.
Seahawks at the Falcons. Seahawks coming off a nice win, nice cover over the Max Brosmer-led Vikings. Oh, boy.
Games don't get any better than that one, Gil Alexander. Ooh.
Whole bunch of 3-and-outs and punts early. 3-0 Seahawks. This is about, let's say, this is the 4th time they had the football. They're up 3-0. First play for the Seahawks. 1st and 10, their own 22. Darnold sacked by Dallas Turner. He fumbles. Jalen Redmond recovered. Minnesota set up at the Seattle 13. 4th and 1 at the Seattle 4. Brosmer back to pass, running for his life. Chased by DeMarcus Lawrence. He just heaves it while going down. Just
so beautiful. So beautiful.
Let me just throw this up and see what happens. Right to Ernest Jones. 85 yards to pay dirt. 10-0 Seahawks. 2:59 left in the second quarter. It would be 13-0 after a Myers 56-yard field goal at the half. Then Myers would casually add a 54-yard field goal to make it 16-0 Seahawks early third quarter. And it was just a comedy. Minnesota, 3rd and 14 at the Seattle 43. Brosmer to Aaron Jones, ball punched out by Lawrence, recovered by Ty Okada. That would lead to another Myers field goal, 19-0. Then Minnesota, 1st and 10 at the Seattle 45. Brosmer throws high, picked by Kobe Bryant. Next time Minnesota had the ball, second play, 2nd and 6, Brosmer picked off a deflection by Ernest Jones again. Seattle set up at the Minnesota 32, 4th and 1 at the Minnesota 23. Darnold to Barner for 2. 2 plays later, Charbonnet in from 17, 26-0 with 9:11 left. Next time Minnesota had the ball, 2nd and 6 at the Seattle 28. Brosmer picked by Reek Woolen. Returns at 30 yards, stuck by Jalen Naylor, fumbles recovered by Naylor. Minnesota back at the 37 after a hold, end up 4th and 13 at the Seattle 40. Brosmer sacked by Drake Thomas. That is your ball game. Just a rout. And yes, to the question of, is Brosmer a downgrade from J.J. McCarthy? Probably so in the end.
Beautiful game, Gil. That was
fantastic. For those of us who had Seattle.
Yeah, I got one more teaser leg tied into that with the Patriots tonight, but oh boy, this could be my biggest week of the year. Probably will be my biggest week of the year. I played a little shutout. Seahawks to win in a shutout too. Got that home.
Did you really?
Yeah,
nice.
Man, I piled on this game, so that was a good result.
This game and the Buffalo under in games were awesome.
Yeah. And it was like, I don't know, it was concerning early, right, that the Seahawks couldn't get anything going, but also you hit a point in the second, third quarter. They're kicking field goals. I don't know about you. I had no problem with it. Go ahead, kick field goals. They know every time they can add points. Yep. Minnesota just can't do anything offensively.
Who'd you say Seattle was playing?
Seattle at the Falcons.
Falcons lose to the Jets. You see this game?
Oh yeah.
This is in the first half. Jets, second time they had the ball, they punt, but Jamal Agnew muffed it, recovered by Quantez Stiggers. Set up at the 2, Brees in from 2 outs, 7-0 Jetropolitans. Early second quarter. Atlanta, couple drives later from their own 38 with 3:10 left in the quarter. 10 plays, 62 yards. Bijan for 16 to start. Algerian from 1 to end it. We're tied at 7 at the half. Exciting, right? Trying to make it exciting.
Oh, yeah.
Third quarter. Atlanta, first possession, 8 plays, 95 yards. Cousin to Bijan for 42. Mostly yak. Roughing the passer, tacked on 3 plays later. Bijan in from 5, 14-7. Falcons, 9:36 left in the third quarter. Jets respond. 2 plays, 65 yards. Tyrod to Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. From 52 out, 14 all, 8:58 left in the third quarter. Then Atlanta, Gonzalez misses a 50-yard field goal try. Folk comes back. He misses his first kick of the season, field goal or extra point, short and right on a 55-yard try. Then Atlanta does get a Gonzalez field goal to make it 17-14 Falcons. Then the Jets, Isaiah Williams takes the ensuing kickoff 83 yards. Jets set up at the Atlanta 15, but they have to settle for a Folk field goal. It's 17-17, early third quarter. Then Atlanta, 8 plays, 74 yards. Cousins to Algier for 31, the big play. 3 plays later, Cousins to David Sills, the hit from 9 out. 24-17 Falcons, 8:46 left. Jets respond, 15 plays, 65 yards. 4th and 1 at the Atlanta 11. Tyrod for 2. 2 plays later, Tyrod in from 10. We're tied at 24 with 1:53 left. 1:53 left, Kelly. And we still had enough time for an Atlanta 3 and out, a Jets 3 and out. Atlanta then from their own 33 with 57 seconds left. 3 and out, where they went incomplete, so the Jets didn't have to use either of their 2 timeouts. Then the Jets from their own 43 with 35 seconds left, both remaining timeouts. So they used both on the way to a 1st and 10 to the Atlanta 33 with 12 seconds left. But a false start still. Folk, 56-yard field goal, line drive inside the bottom left corner of the goalpost. Good. Jets win 27-24. Seattle minus 8.5 at Atlanta.
Anywhere 7.5 to 8.5 on the board for Seattle.
That makes sense.
Teaser legs for me again, Gil. Let's go.
Coming back, looking for value, Week 14 in the National Football League.
This Black Friday, VSiN's hooking you up with our biggest deal of the year. Just $60 for full VSiN Pro access through May 1st. That's 6 months of nonstop action from the heart of the NFL season and college bowl games through the Super Bowl, March Mania, the Masters, and the NBA playoffs. Get every VSiN Pro article, betting tool, AI projection, and expert pick, all for just $60. Don't wait. This offer's only for a limited time. Head to VSiN.com/subscribe and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Elevate your sports betting game with VSiN's exclusive betting splits. Stay ahead with real-time market trends and track bet percentages on any matchup, then uncover the edge by comparing them to the amount of bets placed to find out where the sharp money is headed. Upgrade to VSiN Pro to access betting splits, live odds, line moves, power ratings, and in-depth game analysis. Go to VSiN.com/pro to join VSiN, the sports betting network.
This is VSiN, the sports betting network. A numbers game on VSiN, the sports betting network.
Ready to boost your bankroll? Brocco's giving new depositors a 50% purchase bonus. Just use promo code VSiN when you sign up. Brocco's lines are live on our VSiN betting splits page. See where the action's moving before you bet. Turn your bonus into an edge with insight that matters. Go to Play Brocco. That's BRACCO. PlayBrocco.com today and use promo code VSiN. It's Gil Alexander. We get tweets of beating the book. Fred Courier. Did I miss this? Use the 100,000 if lost on the Eagles, and knowing if Ravens lose, I get the chop. I would have at least placed money line on Bengals to cover the 100K. Not sure I followed that on the fly, but yes. Did people who played one side, then could they manipulate it and try to lock in profit? I don't know if you're talking about Grandissimo or the actual Circa Survivor Classic. Yes, I'm sure there were things that people did outside of the contest itself. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't, because we talked a little, you and I, about this last week, where we were like, well, if we were in it, like in the Grandissimo case, if you knew that you had one of your entries in it, would you monetize? Would you take the pains to do so? Maybe at 100,000 you would. But if you were in Circa Survivor, would you have? Probably not. The actual class.
Grandissimo, no. I would have been
Yes.
calling everybody I knew and scrambling to, try to get as much down as I could. Yeah, but we talked about it.
Yep.
Survivor, unfortunately, just like a lot of people we know, I would have just been done and out with the Eagles, and I would have not done anything about that.
Bainbridge DeWeese. I bet Cowboys to win the Super Bowl at 150-1 right after the Kansas City win. Thursday sure feels like an elimination game to me. He's talking about the Lions and the Cowboys. And then Scott, New York Mets 16. Oh, this is a great stat here. For those of you who are like, God, were those afternoon games, those 3 games in the afternoon, just a disaster. Great afternoon slate, he said, with total yards for the 3 losing teams, 156, 162, and 166, and 8 total turnovers.
Yeah, it was
bad. Talking about the Vikings, Steelers, and who was the third? The Vikings, Steelers, and, of course, the...
And now I'm blanking.
Yeah, I'm blanking. Who was the other game? What was the third game? Can't remember.
Steelers.
Okay. 8 total turnovers.
Raiders. No.
And the Raiders.
Raiders
Correct.
turnovers, yeah.
And the Raiders, of course. How could we forget the Raiders? All right, what's next?
I don't know about you, but I actually barely had that game on. I had the other 2 big on the big screens because I was heavy on the Seahawks and I was on the Bills.
Oh, by the way, Ace Dick Cardano on Twitter. How Todd acted when Brent brought up the Flutie play is all of us. Touchdown, Boston College is one of my first memories in life. Todd was like a little kid with Brent. As soon as Todd asked, what was your favorite play-by-play? The first thing that Brent talked about was, of course, the miracle, the Doug Flutie miracle to Gerard Phelan, Boston College over Miami. And Brent was talking about how he didn't even know who caught the ball and all that. And before he could even tell the story, Todd, like a little kid, is like, oh, my God, I can't believe you said that. I was going to guess that myself. I was like, okay. That's great. All right.
Oh, man. All right, early window still. Bengals at the Bills.
Speaking of the Bengals, did we speak of the Bengals yet?
Bengals
Bengals cover for us and win outright. Beat the Ravens 4-8. The Bengals are, and they're looking up at the top of the division, and both the Steelers and the Ravens are 6-6. And they got games against both of them coming up.
Oh, it would suck.
Man, oh, man. Burrow, 24 of 46 for 261. Man, he was in complete control. He was like, you hear him counting down the play clock when he's at the line of scrimmage? Guys, we have plenty of time. 7, 6, just doing that the whole game. Jamar, 7 for 110. The Bengals were +4 in turnovers, though. Let's be serious. Time of possession, 38-46 to 21-14. Buffalo beats the Steelers, one of those 3 miserable afternoon games, unless you were betting. And then things really went your way if you were on the under, if you were on the Bills in the end. 3rd and 9 of the Pittsburgh 42, first drive of the game for Buffalo against Pittsburgh. Josh Allen picked by Brandon Eccles, who stepped in front of Keenan Allen. Didn't amount to anything, though. Buffalo, few drives later. 1st and 10, their own 45, were still scoreless. Cook fumbles, ball knocked out by his own knee, recovered by Patrick Queen. Pittsburgh set up at the Buffalo 39, 6 plays. Warren in from 1 out, 7-0 Stillers. 8:09 left second quarter. Buffalo then, 16th play of the ensuing drive. 4th and 3 of the Pittsburgh 4. They false start. They settle for a Prater field goal. 7-3 Steelers at the half. 3rd quarter, Pittsburgh. First play, Rodgers. Arrogant as ever, Kelly. Thinks he can make a play out of nothing instead of throwing it away. Crushed by Joey Bosa. Fumbles. Christian Benford. Scoop and score from 17 out. First play from scrimmage, second half, and it changed the whole game. 10-7 Billiards. 16 seconds into the half. Mason Rudolph then in, as Rodgers went to tend to his nose, his wrist, anything else that's hurting him.
Getting beat up.
2nd and 6, own 36. Rudolph throws it in a crowd. Aired it out. Benford picks it. Buffalo set up at the 44 now. 8 plays, 56 yards. Their own 44. 8 plays, 56 yards. Cook for 31, the big gainer. 4th and goal at the 1. Allen to Keon Coleman. 16-7 Buffalo. Prater wide left on the extra point. A little less than halfway through the third quarter. Next time Buffalo had the ball from their own 17. 4th and 2. It's a Pittsburgh 23. Ty Johnson for 2. At this point, after 3 quarters, total yards was 310-90 in favor of the Bills. 5 plays later, Allen from 8 out, pushed in, touchdown, 23-7 Bills. Less than a minute into the fourth quarter, Pittsburgh then gets it to 4th and 2 at the Buffalo 7. Gainwell hit for a 2-yard loss by Greg Rousseau. Buffalo from their own 9. With 10-11 left, they matriculate. Drinking game. 4th and 2 at the Pittsburgh 19 with 1:12 left. Prater field goal, 26-7. That's how it would end, as the Steelers just waved the white flag. That is it. Buffalo just pounds them in the second half. I'll say Buffalo, this is Buffalo hosting the Bengals. Now, the Ravens were just 6-point favorites hosting the Bengals, and the Bengals beat them. And now it's the Bills hosting the Bengals after we got to see the Bengals. But the Bills are better than the Ravens, but it can't be the full 6. I said 5.5.
Yep, I think that is well done, and we are right around that area. 5.5. There are 6s on the board.
All right.
Mainly 5.5s, though. How about a couple records in that game? Josh Allen, now the all-time leading quarterback touchdown scorer, 76 rushing touchdown in the regular season, past Cam Newton. Then did you catch that as the most rushing yards Pittsburgh Steelers have ever given up
that is
in
correct. I even
a
had
regular
that
season game?
I even had that note here.
They've been around for a while.
I have it in the last 50 years. Is it ever? Most yards in 50 years by opponent at Pittsburgh. They out-time a possession, the Steelers, 41-59 to 18-01.
Jeez. It's crazy. I don't even know how impressive the Bills were either. Like the Steelers were just a disaster. Okay, still early window. Titans at Browns.
The 1-11 Titans and the 3-9 Browns.
You hear chuckling. There's a lot of movement on the game this morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Tennessee loses to Jacksonville. Tennessee was up 3-0. They're always up. Tennessee's always leading at the beginning. And Jacksonville, 7 plays, 84 yards. Trevor to Myers for 50, the big chunk. That's Jacoby Myers. 3 plays later to Myers from 3 out, 7-3 Jacksonville, late first quarter. Then Chimere Dike fumbled the ensuing kickoff return. LaQuint Allen Jr. recovers. Jacksonville set up at the Tennessee 35. 4 plays. Trevor to Brenton Strange from 21 out, 13-3. Offside on the extra point. They go for 2. Lawrence in 15-3. Early seconds of the second quarter. Later, Jacksonville from their own 21 with 20 seconds left in the quarter and all 3 timeouts. 13 to Myers, 12 to Strange, 12 to Strange. They eschew, I like when they eschew, the long Cam Little field goal try. They decide to go for the Hail Mary. Tennessee called for roughing the passer. They mess with Lawrence. A scuffle ensues. So they get a roughing the passer penalty. Little 45-yard field goal. Good. 18-3 Jacksonville at the half. Jacksonville first drive of the second half, 71 yards. Would be 3 and out, nullified by roughing the kicker, so they matriculated from there. Convert 4th and 1 at the Tennessee 4. Trevor for 2. Next play, Tootin in from 2. 25-3. That's how it would end. 25-3. No need to go on with that game. By the way, the Titans had 11 first downs and 188 total yards for the 1-11 Titans. And there's the Browns. Browns played the Niners. San Francisco, second time they had the ball after Sky Moore returned it 66 yards. Niners set up at the Cleveland 16, 6 plays. CMC in from 1, 7-0 Niners, 8-12 left first quarter. Cleveland from their own 30. They get to 4th and 1 at the San Francisco 20. Judkins stuffed by Malik Mustafa. Later, Cleveland, 10 plays, 90 yards, all rushes, Kelly, except the last play of the drive. 9 rushes, and then Shedeur to Harold Fannin Jr. from 34 out. They go for 2 after an illegal substitution penalty. Judkins in, 8-7 Brownies with 39 seconds left in the quarter.
The crowd goes crazy.
But then San Francisco from their own 35 with 39 seconds left in the second. 2 timeouts, Purdy to Kittle for 33. Sets up a chip shot. Matt Gay, 25-yard field goal try, which ricocheted in from 25. 10-8 Niners at the half. Cleveland, second possession, second half. 4 and out. 4th and 1 at their own 33. Fannin Jr. fumbles the snap. Luke Gifford recovers. San Francisco set up at the Cleveland 32. Purdy in from 2. as the entire defense went with McCaffrey. 17-8 Niners. 129 left third quarter. Next time the Niners had the ball, 3 and out, but Gage Laverdane muffed the punt. Darrell Luter Jr. recovers. At that point, you're like, okay, Browns, any chance they had is gone with that muff. San Francisco set up at the Cleveland 18, 6th place. Later, Purdy to Juwan Jennings from 7 out, 23-8, 2-point try fails. I think that was the touchdown where Brock Purdy did the Dougie afterwards, of note.
Yeah.
Teach him out of Dougie. Then Cleveland, 4th and 16 at the San Francisco 48. Shador sacked by Keon White. That, for all intents and purposes, was the ball game. 26-8. Niners win it. I will say Cleveland hosting Tennessee. I'll say Cleveland is a 4-point favorite.
What a guess by Gil Alexander. 3.5, mainly 3.5 out there. There are 4s, there are 4.5s.
What was the movement?
It's been opened up 3.5 basically everywhere and has been going the Cleveland direction here this morning.
Yeah.
A couple places bought back though, hit 4.5 and got bought back.
Had to be a tick over 3 was the thinking.
How about your total here? 33.5.
Oh, is it low enough? Coming back on a numbers game at VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
VSiN's player prop projection tool is now available for the NBA. Get projections for points, assists, rebounds, and more powered by Opta AI. On VSiN.com/NBA props, we line up our projections against the latest DraftKings odds so you can quickly spot mismatches and find value before the market adjusts. The NBA player prop projections tool is available exclusively to VSiN Pro subscribers. Check it out now at VSiN.com/NBA props and join us on the Sports Betting Network.
Join the guru, John Hansen, at the intersection of prop betting and fantasy sports on Prop Points, only on VSiN.
Lesson number 1, Patty's back. I still believe that Caleb Williams is not any good. And, other than Rome Odunze, I don't trust anyone that can't run the ball.
John and his guests will help you find the connection between the two and give you his expert advice on how to capitalize when a number is too good to pass up. Prop Points, weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on VSiN.
VSiN, the Sports Betting Network.
Back on a numbers game live from Circa Resort Casino, downtown Las Vegas. Gil Alexander. Kelly Bidlin, everybody. Producer number 9. So much more than a producer.
Hey-yo.
We get tweets beating the book. Brian Schaefer, 31. This year, there is no dominant team. With the Eagles' offensive challenges, the Chiefs might not make the playoffs. The Rams' D getting diced up by Bryce Young. Patriots played the easiest schedule. Buffalo is flawed. It's anyone's Super Bowl this year. Brian, we've been saying it all year. And we really have. It just, I don't even know if you can throw these. I mean, we saw it by the market numbers last week, right? Never before have 6 teams in the AFC into a late week, right? We're going into week 13 of an NFL season. 6 teams in the AFC were either 5-1 or plus 550 at DraftKings. That is the definition of just, hey, man, we don't know. Nobody knows.
I'm just pulling up the Super Bowl odds right now. Like, I will stand by, even though one of these teams lost yesterday, I'll stand by that I think the Rams and Seahawks are in a tier by themselves. Or does that mean they're good, great, however you want to classify that? I don't know. I don't know, but I think they are in a tier by themselves. How about Packers then plus 950, Bills plus 950, Eagles 10-1, Broncos 10-1, Patriots 11-1, Colts 12-1. I have no idea if any of these teams are all that great.
Nope. And it's the one year you don't even you're not even tempted to play a matchup or in a Super Bowl because who knows? At least I'm not.
I mean, good for anybody who, jammed some Bears ones in 4 weeks ago.
Against the Bears fans getting ornery.
1 seed in the NFC, sure.
Christopher Ritter, we're done with Cincy. Best thing to happen for the Steelers is to get dog-walked in both games versus the Ravens. Fire Tomlin, bring in Marcus Freeman, start anew. This has turned into a joke year in and year out. Joshua Smalls, I bet the Cowboys 60-1 to win the division before the Eagles game. Figured the number would be gone if they won both and Philly lost.
Oh, good on you. That was sad, though. The Fire Tomlin chance.
Oh, God, really?
As much as the guy's driven me nuts and cost me bet, I mean, that's an ultimate sign of respect, right? I have lost so much betting against Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
In season win totals over the years. And yeah, the chants were raining in last night.
6-6. Tied atop the division. Ravens right now have the tiebreaker, but teams play each other twice starting this week. So we'll get to that. I just want to say before we move back into guessing lines and look for value here, shout out to Rodney Harrison. Did anybody see this last night? So the pregame of the Sunday Night Football game between Washington and Denver last night, they do their whole thing. They're on the field. It's cold in D.C. or in Maryland as it was. And it's Jack Collinsworth, Tony Dungy, Jax Collinsworth, Tony Dungy, and Rodney Harrison at the desk. And is it Jack or Jack? Jack Collinsworth.
Jack with a C.
Jack with a C, pardon me. Throws a question, as he does all the time, to Rodney Harrison. And Rodney Harrison appeared to either not hear or be confused by the question. And then Jack did a follow-up to it. And Rodney still seemed a little off and had a very sparse response and sort of apologized for the sparse response. And if you were watching at the time, I know I did. I became very concerned for him. I thought he was having, I genuinely thought, I know we joke about it when something happens to you here on the show, but I genuinely thought he was having some kind of medical event. And out loud in the apartment, I was just like, oh no. I wanted them to pull away from it. Turns out, though, that he rebounded. He finished the segment, although not that spectacularly, I must say. But apparently he came back later, and apparently he's okay. So I just hope, and we just shout out as a show, as a network to Rodney Harrison, hope everything's okay. That was a scare for many of us watching that last night.
I didn't catch it live, but man, it was everywhere afterward. That's pretty scary.
Yeah. All right.
It's early window. We move on. The Commanders at the Vikings.
Speaking of the Commanders, how about that effort last night? This is the 3-9 Commanders at the 4-8 Vikings. Remember there was a possibility that these two teams would maybe meet in the NFC Championship last year? One of them got there. The other didn't. Washington, if you missed this game last night, you missed a hell of a football game. Denver's up 3-0. This is the first half. Washington set up at their own 42, 2nd and 6 at the Denver 19. Mariota picked by Drake Greenlaw. Denver 4th and 1 at the Washington 45. Ensuing drive, Nix to Troutman for 22. That led to another Lutz field goal. 6-0 Broncos halfway through the second quarter. Then Washington, 71 yards. Rodriguez in from 8 after Denver accepted an illegal formation penalty that gave Washington 1st and 15 from the 16 instead of 2nd and 10 from the 11. I thought that was curious. Then an unnecessary roughness on Benito for dragging Tyler Badass on the ground. No call on Tunsil for then kicking Benito down after that. 7-6 Washington, 2:21 left in the second quarter. Denver then goes 10 plays, 64 yards, and 158. Nix falling to the ground just before his knee hits to Sutton from 11 out, 13-7 Broncos at the half. Great play by Bo Nix. Third quarter begins. So Washington, really a great game plan, I thought, by Cliff Kingsbury. Short, quick passes. Wouldn't let that Denver pass rush get to them. That was kind of a blueprint for everybody else who's better than Washington to beat the Broncos later. Third quarter, Washington, 10 plays, 72 yards. Mariota to Burks from 5 out. Insane one-handed catch by Treylon Burks, reminiscent of OBJ.
Oh, man.
Wasn't as good because OBJ's was a long pass that the ball came out of the sky. But this one was unbelievable. I thought there was no way he was catching this ball.
I mean, it's a Sunday full. There was, what did we have, 3 or 4 catches yesterday?
We
were
had
just insane.
3 insane catches yesterday. Treylon Burks for Washington. Brock Bowers touchdown for the Raiders. And maybe the coup de grace.
Yeah, it was
Puka Nacua for the Rams, maybe with the catch of the day, if Treylon Burks' wasn't. Anyway, Burks catches an insane one-handed catch, 14-13 Washington, 9:58 left third quarter. Then Denver responds, 11 plays, 72 yards, where they convert 3 third down conversions, 3rd and 8, a 3rd and 11, a 3rd and 5. Harvey in from 1, it's 20-14 Broncos, 3:59 left. Remember, the spread was 6. We're right on it. Denver, next time they had the ball, 3rd and 8 at their own 33. Nix throws it right to Bobby Wagner. Didn't see him. Washington set up at the Denver 36. They get a Moody 38-yard field goal. There's Jake Moody. 20-17 Broncos after Surtain doesn't get flagged pulling on the incomparable Terry McLaurin in the end zone. And Tirico and Collinsworth just went with it. Yeah, I just think that's hand fighting. He's all over him. We don't throw flags on Surtain, apparently. Stop it. The whole time I'm saying in the group chat, I'm like, just let McLaurin go one-on-one and toast that. Anyway, sorry. I had a little moment there. It was funny watching this game. I didn't have anything on it, but like my little boy Washington fanhood came out. I was just going nuts on this game. And they're going nowhere, obviously, with the record. Anyway, it's 20-17 at this point. Washington now, this is fourth quarter from their own 20 with 4:42 left. 2nd and 9 at their own 37. Mariota tripped by Dondre Tillman. No flag. They have to punt. The whole broadcast is like, oh, my God. Complete trip, no flag. Washington, next time they get the ball from their own 14 with 3 minutes left. 1 timeout left in the 2-minute warning. First play, Surtain hits Burks early, no flag. 4th and inches, zone 35. McNichols for 2. 2-minute warning. They get to midfield. Then a phantom false start on McLaurin, which again, the broadcast booth and Terry McCauley are like, what was that? Then an intentional grounding, which McCauley says was, quote, absolutely not grounding. Ends up 3rd and 25 back on their own 36 to McLaurin for 19. 4th and 6 at the Denver 45. Mariota to Ertz for 8. 1st and 10 at the Denver 37 to Debo for 10 to Debo for 7. All of a sudden now Washington thinking we're going to win this. 2nd and 3 at the Denver 20. 23 seconds left. Now no timeouts. Incomplete. 3rd and 3 at the Denver 20. Mariota runs for 6. You just got to get the Hawaiian T in there.
Yep.
Because they were doing it all last night.
That was a big deal last night.
Big deal on the broadcast. I just wanted to match their efforts. Mariota runs for 6. Just gets out of bounds, by the way. First is at the Denver 14 with 12 seconds left. Incomplete. Moody, 32-yard field goal. We're going overtime. 20 apiece. The Skins win the toss. Also, the Commanders won the toss. They elected to kick, which, again, they were questioning afterwards because like Denver had just been on the field for a million plays in a row. Maybe Washington should have taken it on offense. Instead, they elect to kick, and the Broncos go 5 plays, 76 yards, and 301. Nix to Ingram for 41, the big one. 2 plays later, Harvey in for 5. 27-20 Broncos. Washington then, you're like, oh, my God, not only is Denver going to win, they're going to cover because of the overtime. But Washington goes 11 plays, 65 yards, and 412. Mariota to McLaurin for 20. Then 4th and 6 at the Denver 41. Mariota escapes the sack by Benito and Franklin Myers. I don't know how he escaped it. Yeah. He passes it. It's picked off a deflection, but a PI called on Talanoa Ofanga, who says, my bad, I did it. 1st and 10 at the Denver 36. McNichols for 8. Then McNichols loses 2. Then Mariota to McLaurin for 30. Touchdown, right? No, but a hold called on Josh Connerly. Correct call. Then to Debo for 38 to the 2. 1st and goal, the 2. Remember, 7 ties, 8 wins. Rodriguez loses a yard. Then incomplete. Then incomplete to Ertz, who drops it in the end zone. 4th and goal, 3. Mariota to McLaurin, touchdown, pick not called. 27-26. You're 3-8. Of course you're going for it. Mariota drops back, or excuse me, he's in the shotgun, I believe. McNichols wide open in the flat. Benito bats it down. Ball game. Broncos win.
Great finish.
And then there's Minnesota. Brosmer was 19 of 30 for 126. He had 4 picks. Justin Jefferson, 2 catches for 4 yards for the Vikings. Washington at Minnesota. I'll say Washington minus 2.5.
Washington, a 1.5 point favorite.